of a boy who was born in a family where his father was a carpenter living in a slum called Kiaguthu in Thika. And the mother was a peasant farmer in a village somewhere in the highlands of Kenya. He had a shop in class 6 trying to make ends meet, like a small kiosk around their home, because the family had financial challenges, because they were many siblings and their own school at the same time like the normal families have. Na huyo kijana akafanya KCPE hiyo wakati wao, na akapata barua ameitwa shule ya kifahari, na wazazi wake wakafurahia sana ya kwamba their only son had been admitted in a very good school of repute. But upon period on akapata nafasi and he was elected as an MP in a constituency here in Kenya. The young man I was giving you the story about is the man standing before you, called NYORO, the MP for Kiharu. In the school he had been admitted but could not attend because of school fees is called Kiaguthu Boys National School. And therefore, pale pahali munaweka alumni na uvuba kwa unyenyekevu, munisogasogee tu kidogo hata mimi nikuwe alumni wa Kiaguthu Boys National School. I want to highlight a few things. Just a few things. But before those, kwa sababu nimeona kuna watu wengi wa Kiharu, because mimi ni kiongozi ambaye napenda clarity. Ile kazi mingi inafanywa na wazazi, sio mimi. Because we only do partial scholarship in terms of bursaries, na kwa hivyo napongeza wazazi kwa kusimamia these young men in way of paying their school fees, na pale Mungu anatujalia tunasaidiana na bursaries kama vile zilisomwa na mwalimu mkuu. There are many things we have done in Kiharu, na kwa hivyo nataja hiyo kwa sababu nimeona close to a third of the people here are from Kiharu. Kiharu schools, all our public primary schools, which are around 112, they are fully renovated, fully built up, na shule zetu za Kiharu zote za msingi wanafunzi huwa wanakanyaga tiles chini, because all of them without exception ziko na tiles hapa Kiharu. We also have a program we call Kiharu Masomo Bora, ambayo wale wako katika day schools, the only school fees they pay is only 1,000 per term, na hakuna malipo ingine, na wanafunzi wanakula shule, na every last Friday of the month they actually eat chapati for lunch across all our day schools. Najua Kiaguthu wanasema wakuwe hapo, lakini hii ni national school. Hii sio day school. Nyinyi pengine tu upgrade kuwe pizza. Lakini hiyo tutaongea baadaye, because I like promising things that are doable. Now, I want you to listen. As a young man here in whichever form, the first thing you need to do as a young man in high school is first of all to define who you are. Who are you as a young man in Kiaguthu? Either in form 2, 3 or 4. You need to first know who you are so that you actually know where you are going. Because people plant tea where the environment of tea can allow tea to thrive. The same with pineapples and all the other crops. You also need to realize yourself as a young man. Who are you? Na leo kuna baridi sana. Sijui kama ni mimi tu naisikia. Karibu niambie mwalimu aniwekee jiko hapa. I'm almost shivering. But let's continue. As a young man, the first thing you need to do at this age, you need to define yourself. What are your strengths as a young man here? Strength meaning, are you more a storyteller? Are you analytical? You need to identify your strengths early, now while you're in Kiaguthu. Which are your weaknesses? When you look inside of you and you analyze yourself, what are your weaknesses? You can use the subjects and the strengths under which you have in every subject to also know the kind of strength and weaknesses you have. What opportunities do you have? You're already in a national school. That is already a good opportunity enough. And what are the threats? Some of the threats you have as a young man in any high school, including Kiaguthu, would be abuse, peer pressure. Those are threats. You are here as a plant. A plant has many threats. Inaweza kuwa ni mchwa, inaweza kuwa ni jua kali, inaweza kuwa many things. So you also need to look inwards and define yourself as a young man. The second thing, you need to know within yourself. Na unajiita mkutano mara mingi. Where are you going? You are here, but your work is not to mark time around. So ni jani gani umechukua? Unaendelekea wapi katika maisha? Here you need to define what you want to be, and especially not just in terms of what you achieve in subjects, but cumulatively, holistically, the kind of a person you want to be in the next few years, the direction at which you are taking. Do you want to become a politician? Do you want to become an entrepreneur? Do you want to become a doctor? Do you want to become an engineer? What do you want to become? An academia, a professor? What ni nini hiyo unataka kuwa katika maisha? It is important you define that early. I wrote a book called How to Succeed in High School when I was in second year in campus in KU. And na hapa nyuma unaandika about the author. It's a book I authored when I was in second year in KU. About the author nikaandika Dede NYORO ni mwanafunzi wa uchumi. Lakini the last sentence was, and his future Kiharu MP. And now I'm starting here as the current Kiharu MP. Where are you going? Define that, write it down, because it is important. It is the journey at which you are traveling in your life. Why are you going there? That's the third point. Who you are, number one. Where are you going? Why are you going there? The reason why I ask you why you are going there. Sharing experience of many of us who have advanced kimiaka kuliko the young men here. I want to encourage you, as you choose what you want to do and where you want to go, also choose something that you enjoy doing. If you are good in physics, if you are good in biology, you are good in mathematics, then choose something that you already enjoy doing. If it's engineering, if it's area around medical, in school and also in practice, choose something that is already inherent in you, because you take less effort to do that which is already inherent in you. And in that also the second thing why you want to go there. Choose to go there because you want to provide solutions. You want to become an engineer, a doctor, a pilot, because you want to provide solutions. And a story is given, I'm sure you have heard about it, of a king who was called Oberon. And this king, kama hii njia yetu ya kutoka Kahuro kuja hapa Kiaguthu, ikawekwa udongo, like there was erosion. Na katika hiyo udongo ikafunga barabara. So the barabara was semi-closed, partially closed. So the king went kwa bush akajificha kuona the behavior of people. Na ni times za kitambo. Hakukuwa na magari, kulikuwa na kitu inaitwa carriageway. Kama hizi tunaonanga zinavutwa. So the merchants wakapita hapo, wakaona barabara imefungwa, they started complaining why the road has been closed. Then there came an entrepreneur, a business person. Akapata barabara imefungwa na alikuwa na gari ya hiyo wakati inaitwa carriageway. Na pia yeye akaanza complaining. Then there came a peasant, a farmer and a businessman carrying a basket of vegetables. Akapata barabara imefungwa. Kupata barabara imefungwa, yeye haku complain, na munisikiza vizuri. Alienda akaweka basket chini na akaenda akatoa hiyo udongo kwa barabara for others to pass, na yeye pia pass vizuri. Lakini after kuondoa hiyo udongo, he saw a leather purse hapo chini. And inside there were some gold coins and silver coins and a note from the person who had put it there. Na ilikuwa inasema that the content in the purse belonged to the person mwenye alifungua barabara. Na ilikuwa signed hapo chini by the king. So the king alikuwa amejificha, akatokea na akacongratulate that young man na akampea zawadi zingine mingi. In life, seek to be a person who provides solutions. Because when you take that responsibility, underneath that responsibility of serving others, underneath that responsibility of doing good, underneath there is payment for you for being responsible. But I want to highlight a few things, basics. Zile nimeona mimi, and I'm sure our parents, if they got a chance, they would enumerate the same. As you travel, because we talked about identify who you are, know where you are going, and why you are going there. Then, what are these things that you need so that you actualize from who you are to who you want to become? There are many, but I'll highlight just a few. One is that right here in Kiaguthu, you need to have a goal. Goal we divide marabiri, or even 3 or more. The first goal is the global goal. What you want to become in the next many years after schooling. That's the overarching goal. The other goal now is the kind of subjects that go alongside actualizing that. If you want to be a person who is an engineer in Google, in Microsoft, then you need STEM courses, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. The kind of subjects that enhance STEM in your schooling, then you should give them more weight. You must have a goal. And I want you to always picture, there is a time I was with a friend of mine. We had gone to Kisumu many years back after clearing campus. Na tukaigia boat kwenda kujienjoy in Lake Victoria. And the guys wenye walikuwa wana pedal the boat, wakati tumefika kule mwisho, wakatuambia ongezeni pesa, na wakachukua hiyo vitu ya kupedal the boat. So the winds would toss us in every direction until we had to say, ile munataka tutaongeza. Always figure out wewe in an ocean where there are torrents, there are strong winds, being blown in every direction, and you are in a boat. That is what you become when you are in Kiaguthu Boys National School and you actually don't know where you are heading. You are like that boat with no rudder, just tossed around by the wind. And I don't think that is what we came here for. Number 2 is mentorship. It is important that even as you head where you are going, look for others who have traveled that route. You want to be a doctor? It is important as you break even over holiday. Look for a doctor. Befriend them. Because when you get mentors, you step on the shoulders of giants. And you are able to overcome many of the hardships they went through without necessarily encountering them. Mentorship entails many things. I am here as MP for Kiharu. I don't think it's coincidence that I do stockbroking today. Yet my first job that I got when I was first year in campus was in our former MP stockbroking firm, Honorable Genya Kariuki, who was also former MP for Kiharu. I'm talking about mentorship. I associated with him then. I ended up being exactly what he was doing. He was doing stockbroking, which I do. He was former MP of Kiharu. I am MP for Kiharu. We were with him, with our governor. Hiyo wakati nilikuwa youth winger wa Kenya Karaoke. We were with our governor on Iroko Kangata. When Kenya was vying in, I think 2007, we were in his camp campaigning for him. It is not a coincidence that even Kangata ended up becoming MP for Kiharu. It is also not coincidence that Honorable Kenya Karaoke was chief campaigner of Honorable Kenneth Matiba, who was also MP for Kiharu. That is what practical mentorship is. 3, you have to have passion and want it so badly wherever you are going. I've been reading a biography of the richest person in the world called Elon Musk. Currently worthy over 400 billion US dollars. 400 billion US dollars. Meaning his worth is more than 3 times the Kenyan GDP. And when I'm reading about his biography, you see that the people who rise to high heights, it's never by accident. They work very hard. When he was starting the current company called Tesla, the kind of hardship he had to go through, at some point the company almost went bankrupt, but he still held on. Starting a company that is very novel, like SpaceX, taking people to Mars, taking people to the space. He is currently CEO of 4 companies, including X, which is Twitter, is his company. You can imagine heading multi-billion companies at the apex, 4 of them. 4, you need to understand your efficiencies as a human being. And this is what I mean. For example, there are people who, if you don't sleep enough, you can't concentrate. Sio vibaya kujielewa mapema, so that you know, and you even converse with your teacher. If you have uninterrupted sleep for 7 hours, you are more likely to be more effective. Understand yourself early in life. Na hizi vitu nawaambia tu si za hapa shule, za mpaka huko nje. So that you always act on your optimum. You always act where you have the highest capacity for the output. Napitia tu juju, I'm sure some of you are noting. Then you need to view the world in a positive manner. There are many of us who are already conditioned. And you know, a story is given of a young elephant. Ilifugwa mguu, ikafugiliwa in a very small plantation. When it was young, ikajaribu kujipull, it couldn't, because by then it had not developed in strength. The elephant grew, conditioned that it cannot break free. Ikakuwa mzee, ikakuwa adult elephant. It had strength to just walk through and break the rope ambayo ilikuwa imeishika. But it couldn't, because it was already conditioned that ikezunguka here, who is approachable, who is not lofty. The other thing is responsible. Be responsible, be accountable. Listen to this. Listen to these boys. There is this story about 4 people named everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody. There was an important job to be done, and everybody was asked to do it. Everybody was sure that somebody would do it. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. Somebody got angry about that because it was everybody's job. Everybody thought anybody could do it, but nobody realized that everybody wouldn't do it. It ended up that everybody blamed somebody when nobody did what anybody could have done. I want you to shout this as young boys from Kiaguthu. Shout this. I'll be that somebody. Shout harder for our parents to know that I will be that somebody. When you are at home, your parent has gone to visit your auntie, has gone to Sharks, those who are in Nairobi, you are left at home, you are in Sharks, your parent has gone to visit your uncle in town, you are left home. You have to be that somebody who is responsible, because responsibility starts there. The last one, you need to see opportunities and stop complaining. I'm not teaching you things about Kiaguthu, even out there. There was a shoe company back then, a British one, that sent 2 people to Africa to look for the market of selling shoes. They sent 2 people in their sales department. Wakuje Africa, waangalie market ya kuuza viatu. One of them akapeleka ripoti. Akasema, there is no potential there. Nobody wears shoes. 2 people. One has already taken the report. Amekuja Africa, hiyo wakati ya mababu zetu. Hakukuwa na viatu. One took back the report. There is no market there. People there don't wear shoes. The second salesman reported back and said, there is massive potential there. Nobody wears shoes. One got people not wearing shoes and took the report using the same analogy. Nobody wears shoes. One saw the opportunity, the other one saw lack of opportunity. You must be that person who sees opportunity. As I go to the finish, listen to this. Once there was an older man who was broke, living in a tiny house and owning a beat-up car. He was living off social security checks. In the US, when you don't have a job, the government supports you with some little money for your basics. That one was 65 years of age. His home was called Kentucky. And he left Kentucky and traveled to different states to sell a recipe. He had come up with a recipe. Recipe ni kama, which other name can you give it, boys, young men? Recipe ile kama unapika, you understand. So you understand? With a recipe, and he went around selling it. He went to restaurant owners and told them, I have a mouth-watering recipe of making a chicken. Ukitengeneza hii chicken, it will be mouth-watering. He visited many restaurants. He offered the recipe to them for free, just to test, just asking for a small percentage after they sell. Unfortunately, most of the restaurants turned him down and said no. He had visited over 1,000 restaurants selling his recipe. Even after all those rejections, he didn't give up. He got rejected precisely 1,009 times before he had his first yes. And that first yes, one of the food joints we know called KFC was born. And now it is worth over 151 billion US dollars. Young men, you have been trying that math, that physics. I want to ask you, in you pushing your grade from C to B plus and then to A, have you failed over 1,009 times? You are not yet there. So all of us here, however the handicaps you have faced in the past, whatever the conditions of our parents, whatever the situations of our current grades, we are all here as A materials. There is no one who joins Kiaguthu National School. There is no one who joins any national school in Kenya who is not an A material. And therefore my request Form 4 is this. That 8.6, all of you know here today, you have the ability, the capacity to get A's, all of you. Wacha serikali ikuwe shida yao ya kuwatafutia universities kwa sababu nyinyi wote muko na A's. And when you get those A's, I can assure you, help will come on the way of your parents. Hata wale hawataweza kuwapeleka kufanya engineering, kama hiyo tulisikia aeronautical. In Kikuyu we say, mwana mugi dagaga mudhabia. You just do your bit. When you do your bit, everything else corresponds to push you to achieve those heights. I thank you all. But before I sit, huwa sikuji Kiharu sana sana na suti. Leo nimeng'ara, hata sijui kama mnaona hivyo ama ni mimi tu naona. Huwa sivai sana sana tai nikikuja kazi. But because today we are going to parliament, nikaona nitoke hapa kama nimeenda. And I say so because all of us as leaders, as parents, we have found it very, very disappointing that the free basic education that came in Kenya during the reign of President Mwai Kibaki is now being annihilated by those who are in power now. And I want to address them specifically as an MP for Kiharu. Education is the equalizer for all the households in Kenya. It is education ambayo Mungu ametumia that wengi wetu, hata mimi nikiwa mbele yenu, tumefika kwenye tuko. And we cannot allow that advantage we had to be discarded by those who do not know its worth. Free basic education is a right for every school-going child in Kenya. It is not a privilege from any benefactor. It is a right. And it is education that polishes human capital, adds value to human beings and labor force, and helps the economies to grow. Indeed, even in many economic models, because that is my background, education and accumulation of knowledge is one of the factors that catapult economies forward. And therefore, for no avoidance of doubt, we are not going to allow anyone to play around with free basic education. It is appalling to see people in the same government giving different conflicting statements around the same subject. Even if you wanted to lie to Kenyans, you would have called for a meeting to harmonize the lie, so that when you come out, give Kenyans the proper picture. We hear the minister for this talking about this, the minister for the other differently, the other minister for the other differently. You need to give Kenyans hope and a cohesive messaging. And what we are asking is this: 22,000 as capitation is not a figure that came from the air and fell in schools. It was out of analysis done on the issues that capitation supports in a school. And therefore we must not be discussing about whether to go down from 22,000. The discussion should be, since when 22,000 came about as capitation, there has been inflation. We should be talking about increasing capitation from 22,000 upwards. Capitation for primary schools is the same figure that President Mwai Kibaki was giving decades ago. Yet there has been inflation. There has been changes in pricing. The discussion in the country should not be about whether to do away with it. It should be about how much money are we adding to capitation in primary schools, in JS and senior secondary schools. And I want to request those who are in power now, when you are in government, you do not promise, you do. When you have authority from Kenyans, your work is to do. Your work is to say, we are going to do. Because I saw now, after realizing the Kenyan parents are very angry, now the government is trying to come and absolve themselves. And they're saying they support free basic education. Then what you are telling you is this: don't tell us, just set the money. And at it, ile pesa abayo, most of these principles, let me tell you parents, they run these schools like insurance companies. Ile unachukua policy ya huyu, unalipa yule. Majority of the schools in Kenya, and I'm saying so because I have interacted with many principals, and especially because of Kiharu Masomo Bora, have many debts owing to unremitted capitation that the government has not sent to the schools for the last several periods. Tunawauliza kwa heshima, shule zimeweka budget yao wakitumia 22,000. Tafadhali, even the arrears that are there, pay the schools so that the schools can pay the suppliers. Principals wetu waacha kujificha wakitoka shule. Na ya mwisho, when I'm here, I'm talking about President Kibaki's time, because it is the government, the executive, that shapes policy. You know, now I have seen now the usual circus of blame games. Oh, it's this, it's that, it's the other. When we talk about free basic education, we talk about the government then. So the government cannot shift the blame to any other institution. It is the government that shapes policy. It is the government that does allocations. Practically speaking, I have been there, I know. When the budgets are made, Parliament is only a conveyor belt. The buck stops with the executive. Please, reorganize your budget. Remove money from those areas. Many. Remove areas from those many areas, including endless renovations, including confidential funds. Remove the money for political management like the one we are seeing people spending every weekend, direct that money to capitation of support of our education. And please don't shift blame. Just do what is right because you know what is right. Just put money there. Kenyans are not interested in blame games, in shenanigans. Kenyans are just interested in the children of Kenya getting quality education. Na maundu ma drauga gwetio na gikuyu hanini. Maundu ma githomo kia buri tutigwitikira mundu onomwe athake na githomo giki. Ni tondu mĩciĩ mĩingĩ ciana ikinyete haria ire nginya niĩ ndugamite mbere yanyu nĩ Ngai gũtũrathima ahĩtũkĩire gĩthomo-inĩ. Na nĩ wega ciana cia Kenya iheo kanya kau ka mũndũ gũthiĩ gĩthomo athome, nĩ tondũ ndũngĩmenya mwana agatuĩka kĩ ũtambĩte kũmũhe kanya ga gũthoma. Namba 2, thirikari na arĩa me thirikari mamenye andũ mena gũkũ nja no mauge matanya ma ũrĩa mangĩenda kũhanĩke. Wĩra wa thirikari ti matanya, wĩra wa thirikari nĩ kũhingia. Koguo mũtigatinde mũgĩtwĩra matanya, tũratanya gwĩka ũũ gĩthomo kĩa bũrĩ. Tũmai mbeca mathukuru-inĩ. Na ti gũtũma mbeca tu, mũtũme mbeca iria ciagĩrĩire, iria ciĩ circular-inĩ, ciringi 22 harĩ mwana wothe wĩ senior secondary school. Na mathirĩ marĩa mangĩ mothe mũtatũmĩte, gũtirĩ, there is no vacuum in financial management. Thirikari mbeca iria mũtatũmĩte nĩ wega mamenye principles nĩ suppliers matarĩhĩte. Ti kuga nĩ harambĩ ciĩkĩtwo kũrĩ andũ matarĩ arĩhe. Koguo ona arrears kana mathirĩ marĩa thirikari ĩtatũmĩte nĩ wega ĩtũme nĩguo mathukuru maitũ marani ũrĩa kwagĩrĩire. Na ma mũico nĩ tũtige rĩu maũndũ maya ma blame games. Rĩrĩa tũkwaria ũhoro wa thirikari ĩrutĩte wĩra, twaragia ũhoro wa thirikari ĩtagwo executive. Na executive nĩyo ĩmenyaga ũrĩa budget ya bũrũri ĩgũikara na kũrĩa mbeca cia bũrũri igũtwarwo. Tondũ gũtuagwo thirikari nĩyo yorũrire ĩgĩtia kura ĩkĩheana policies. Na koguo ngwenda kũria arĩa marĩho, tigai gũtinda mũgĩcũnĩria aya kana aya, mara nĩ mbunge, mara nĩ judiciary. Me hakuhĩ rĩu nginya kwanjia gũtwĩra nĩ ũndũ wa rĩera. Mũndũ aheo kanya ga gũtungata, tiga blame games. Allocate mbeca gĩthomo-inĩ na gũtirĩ mũndũ ũgũkorwo akĩarĩrĩria topic ĩyo. Andũ mararia nĩ tondũ thukuru ciena mathirĩ, then minister ũyũ nĩ okauga gũtirĩ gĩthomo kĩa bũrĩ, ũngĩ auge nĩ auga ata tiguo araugĩte, ũyũ ũngĩ nake nĩ auga gĩkuo. Tũtikwenda kũmenya ũguo mũkugai, tũkwenda atĩrĩrĩ, by ciana ikĩhingũra after this holiday, arrears iria ciĩkuo na capitation ya 2022 mũtũme mathukuru-inĩ maitũ nĩguo marani wega. Na hayo mengi, Mwenyezi Mungu awabariki. Peterson Thuo kuja. Peterson Thuo president. Si mnaona hata hate iko sawa? Aliniambia kwa ni Lang'ata. Nataka nimpe souvenir kwa sababu huyu ataenda mbali. Souvenir, sikupei pesa, nakupea souvenir. Hiyo unajua ni gani eh? Hebu waambie ni gani?
$100.
Ni kama pesa ngapi hiyo Kenya?
13,000.
Hiyo, asante sana. Kuja bado. Nataka hawa young men wakirudi after holiday, mwalimu waongeze afanye kakitu wakule mzuri. Sawa? Yeah? Oh, system. System eh? Ya entertainment. Sasa kwa sababu sitaki kupromise kitu alafu niende, wacha niache, nyinyi mtajipanga vile itatosha, au sio? So nitaachia huyu, mtaongeza ya system 100,000. Asanteni sana, and to all the Form 4s and all the other students, as the MP for Kiharu where Kiaguthu is, I wish you God's blessings. And I pray that all the dreams and visions that you have, that God will help you to achieve them. That you'll be responsible young men. You'll be assets to your parents. You'll be a blessing to your families. And you'll be pillars to our nation. Asanteni sana.
Dear parents and dear students,
kuna supplier anaongeza ya system. Kuja. Uticas Stones ameongeza ya system 20,000.
Na yeye mheshimiwa Kamwaga, na yeye anasema kuna bandi mnatekeleza whatever itahitajika, ameanzisha na 10,000. So haikuwa harambee. Thank you very much. May God bless you.
Our dear parents and students, can we give our MP a standing ovation? Then we appreciate it. Tusimame tumpigie makofi kwa sababu ya kuja kwake.